In this digital story, I'll talk about the technology that can be used to support second language writing. Some of the examples are Web 2.0, natural language processing, automated writing evaluation or AWE, corpus-based tools, and Google Translate. And some examples of Web 2.0 are social media sites and a site called Lang8, which is a social network that encourages second language communication. Another example of Web 2.0 would be using Google Docs to support and encourage collaboration amongst peers. Natural language processing is essentially AI, where computers can understand and process human languages, both spoken and written. The use of natural language processing is computer-based tools that interpret and create human linguistics, helping language learning students understand languages, expectations, and resources available to them. Some tools that are examples of natural language processing are Grammarly, Quillbot, Reverso, and Word Reference. Automated Writing Evaluation Programs, or AWE, can help with grammar and spelling, style and readability of writing, can do a content review, and can check for plagiarism. Some examples are Criterion, which is a writing evaluation program and provides specific feedback. Turnitin, it checks for plagiarism and is a plagiarism prevention tool. It can do real-time grading, and it can give peer review. And Writing Pal is a program that teaches the writing process and writing strategy instruction to help learners improve their writing skills. Corpus-based tools can provide students with examples of authentic writing and language usage. Some examples of corpus-based tools that I found through my own research are Sketch Engine, AntConc, and Skell. Sketch Engine provides access to lexical information for students. AntConc students can build their own text collections, or teachers can as well. And Skell, or Skell, teaches how phrases are used in English for ELL students. Google Translate can be used to help students in a bilingual and biliterate environment. Students can have social literacy opportunities. Google Translate can support translation practices, though it's not completely accurate grammatically. It can still help with the process of dual language. It can help students interact with their peers and can help with biliterate composing. As an example, I went on a service trip with a group of people to Honduras a few years ago, and there was a girl that had been adopted from China, and she talked to me about her experience after being adopted. I think she was 13, and she talked about how she didn't know how to communicate with her family at first as she was learning English and they didn't speak Chinese, and this was very difficult for her. And in Honduras, she used her phone and she was using Google Translate to communicate with people. And I had never seen it used quite as productively as she did. She just used it and was able to translate what she was trying to say and was not afraid to communicate with people. And she said she felt like a lot of the reason for that was because she understood what it was like to be in conversations around people and not understand the language. Another example was I was teaching a student in a class recently, and he had just moved here from Guatemala, and he didn't understand English at all. He understood like please, thank you, hi, and bye, and that was about it for his repertoire in the English language at first because he had just gotten here, and he wasn't able to interact with his peers. And we used Google Translate as part of the instruction so that he was able to understand the expectations, he was able to understand the purpose of the lessons, and he was able to then use Google Translate to interact with his peers. So when we had time for students to discuss content and for peer feedback, he was able to use Google Translate with his peers and communicate with them, and I saw him, like, come alive. He was always this, like, super quiet student that wanted to sit at the back and not participate, but using Google Translate with his peers, he was motivated and he was exuberant, and he used a lot of hand gestures, but he was able to really communicate with his peers, and he was smiling, and it was so nice to see him come out of his shell as he was able to use this tool for positive and authentic interactions. So, my lesson plan for this week is with writing about your favorite animal. So, I did a similar lesson to this a few years ago, but I incorporated some of the apps and websites that I learned about this week in my research um, to enhance this lesson. So, students were given the assignment to write about their favorite animal, and they needed to be detailed about what animal it was, where does the animal live, what is its habitat, and then why is that animal their favorite, and give real life examples and connections. So, we had a brainstorming day. So, students just took the time to brainstorm what is their favorite animal and why, and some different things that they wanted to talk about in their writing. So, um, I, as a teacher or a teacher, would use Sketch Engine to create a glossary of common words and phrases. So students would turn in their brainstorming to the teacher, and the teacher would be able to, for the students that are L2 students, would be able to um, the teacher would create, using Sketch Engine, a glossary so that the students, when they came back to writing the next day, would be able to use this glossary to know what words could they use in their writing in English that corresponded to their brainstorming the day before. Students would begin the writing process, and students could use Scale to check their writing and language usage, because Scale teaches ELL students how to use common English phrases, and they can put their writing into the program and determine if if their language usage is correct. And then students would use Google Docs for peer collaboration. So they would share their writing with one or two other students, and they would read each other's writing and give peer feedback.